Sometimes watching the Scottish Parliament gives me the impression that it's a parallel universe. There's a cosy consensus, everyone thinks the same. There's a huge range of views and opinions that are never questioned, never debated. And the result of that is that the MSPs lose touch with the public. They genuinely don't understand other viewpoints. And what we've got in this video is a Conservative MSP despairing at the views of the unenlightened masses.
Some things still remain truly shocking. For example, only 3 in 5 people in Scotland think that a woman is not at all to blame for being raped if she wears revealing clothes or is very drunk.
So he's shocked by the views of 40% of the Scottish population, and yet that view is actually reasonable because there's an ambiguity in the question. Now let's imagine you owned a convertible Ferrari and you lent it to me, and I took your Ferrari and I drove it and parked it next to a group of young men who were loitering on a street corner, each with a can of lager in their hand, and I left the top down, tossed the keys onto the passenger seat and said to the young men, I'm going to be back tomorrow morning. And off I went. And I came back to find that the car had been stolen and been smashed up, wrapped around a lamppost somewhere. Now who's to blame for that? Well, the thief is 100% responsible for their actions. They've got no excuse. When it comes to the court case, if that thief were to say, but the keys were just there on the seat, it was obvious I was going to take it, the judge should say that's no excuse, and that's absolutely the way it should be. He's 100% morally and criminally responsible for the crime. But when I came back to you and explained what had happened to your car, what would you say? Would you say, oh, don't worry, it's not your fault, you're not to blame, could have happened to anyone? No, I think you're more likely to say, you idiot, of course it was going to get stolen doing that. And you would be right to do so. Because there are different sorts of blame. There's moral blame, which results in the criminal conviction in this case, and also there's practical blame, playing a part in a chain of events that led to something bad happening, not deliberately, but foolishly. So there's no contradiction between saying to girls and women to be sensible, these are precautions you should take, these are behaviours that are going to increase the risk of being raped. There's no contradiction between that and saying that rapists are wholly accountable for their actions and are utterly without excuse.
In another harrowing example from the same survey, it was found that sexual assault was thought to be less serious when coming from a partner or husband.
Okay, so this time the views of the public are apparently harrowing, but actually they make sense in some ways. If you imagine a wife in the kitchen, say, cooking something, and husband sneaks up behind, puts his arms around her waist, grabs her and gives her a big kiss. And wife might say, oh, go away, I'm making tea, leave me alone. Now imagine the same man going into the street and finding a woman he's never met before and doing the same thing to her. In that situation, he would be arrested, quite rightly. Now, whether it's within the home, within spouses, or with people you don't know, if it's violent, that's the same. If you're talking about things at a lower level, then the context is relevant. So the public's response to this questionnaire actually is not unreasonable. This is the 4th out of 5 videos I'm making based on material from a single debate in the Scottish Parliament. I think there are about 15 points that were made in that debate that I would want to respond to challenge with perfectly sensible and reasonable views, but not a single MSP challenged any of them, and that's why we need the Scottish Family Party in the Scottish Parliament. Right, if you enjoyed this video, why don't you subscribe to us below, and thanks for watching.